Hi, and welcome to the Sports Report here on JCTV. I'm Matt Keeney, and we are very pleased to have Kevin Emerick in the studio with us today, the head coach of the Jefferson College women's basketball team. Thanks so much for coming in, Kevin.
It's great to be here, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Well, before we get to the questions, I might as well just run over some of the numbers here, and they're pretty amazing. As of February 24th, you're 28-0 overall for the 2008-2009 season. Of course, you're 8-0 in conference play and 10-0 in Region 16 play. You're ranked number 1 in the nation since the preseason, and obviously you haven't fallen out of the rankings in that number 1 spot because you haven't lost a game. You have 2 national tournament appearances in the past 2 years, and last season you finished in the Elite 8. Of course, 2 preseason All-Americans in Danielle Adams, who was the nation's leading scorer last season, and LaToya Johnson. They're both back this season. And this is one of the more amazing numbers, I think. Your record in the 3 years here as head coach at Jefferson College is 91-8, and that's about a 91% winning percentage. So how have you, the players, and your staff been able to put together such an amazing run like this?
Well, I think a consistent theme for us over the past 3 years, there's been several things. Obviously, you can't do it without good players, and I think we've had excellent players, and I think that's where it starts at. But to get those players, and again, consistently, what we've tried to talk about the past 3 years, whether it's in radio interviews or interviews with you guys or anybody we talk to, TV and just newspapers, is that we got great support here. I mean, we've got good academic support, we've got good administrative support, we've got we're building community support, which is really important. We've got good crowds at our games now. So I think that's really helped. That's kind of been a result of the last 3 years. But we appreciate those fans that have stayed with us the last 3 years while we built this thing back up. And it just takes a lot of people to make it work. Got great academic services here. Jason Gardner and his group just do a great job with our athletes academically. And I think there's no better place for a young person to get a college education, whether you're in athletics or out of athletics. But certainly if you're in athletics, we have great support here for our student athletes. All that helps.
And last year's team was a fairly young team. This year, though, you have several players returning. We've already mentioned Adams and Johnson, as well as Shea and Triss Williams are back, the twins, Deanna Voinova, Cherokee Barrett, Danae Beavers. So how have you seen them progress from being freshmen last year into coming into their sophomore years this season?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think that we see them on a daily basis, so I'm not sure we see a lot of progression or a lot of change just from day to day. But when we see people that saw them as high school seniors, or people that saw them early last year as freshmen coming in, and then see them now, those people tell us how much they've changed, how much they've grown in strength, and how much they've grown in maturity, how much they've maybe improved their game, either in rebounding or offensive skills or defensive skills. So it's been a progression of things, and you get better just like you do in life at anything, working on a daily basis to try to improve yourself. And those kids have really bought in, and they've improved themselves in a lot of ways. And like I said, we may not see it just day to day, but we certainly see it over the course of time, how much they've improved themselves. And we're just deeper this year because of those 7 sophomores.
And do they help with the freshmen at all as far as getting, situated to collegiate basketball, as well as balancing their courses and things like that? Or do they provide any kind of leadership roles to the younger players?
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, it's been an easier year from a coaching standpoint this year, just having those 7 sophomores back. So they do all those things. I mean, they help incorporate those kids into the fabric of the school, the mission of Jefferson College academically. They help them, if you got a tough test today or a paper due, you're behind. I think they help those kids see the light at the end of the tunnel. You just get through this, get that paper done, study for that test, and then you move on to something else. And so I think they give those kids a sense of program rather than in school, rather than just individuals. And I think that's what really helps when you've got sophomores coming back, is that they help the kids get through the day-to-day workings and the day-to-day challenges that you encounter as a freshman coming into any college, even Jefferson College.
And in looking through the roster, we see there are several players here from the Kansas City area, one from Chicago. So, areas across the state and the region, as well as you have players like Mayata Santos from Brazil, and we've mentioned Deanna Voinova. She comes from Pernik, Bulgaria. So how do you branch out and recruit some of these players and tell them about Hillsborough, Missouri, Jefferson College, and get them to commit to coming here?
Well, that's we get asked that a lot from people. I think we start with a base of trying to recruit as locally as we can and fill our needs and have a chance to be competitive on a national level. And We've got 6, over half our kids are from Missouri. So, that's something we recruit fairly locally. We'd like to recruit more locally if we could, but when you fill your needs in Missouri and you've got some needs outside of Missouri, then we went to Chicago, which is Midwest, Indianapolis, Kokomo, Indiana, where Danae's from, those areas. And then we've got some connections overseas that Jefferson's always had and that I've had before I came to Jefferson. So Deanna was a great pickup. She's a kid who went to high school in Mississippi as an exchange student, liked it in the U.S. and wanted to play basketball in the U.S. Mayada is a friend of a friend. Juanica played with a Brazilian girl down at Southeast Missouri State, and so Mayada is a friend of Tachi, and Tachi was a teammate of Juanica's. So just through connections, just being in the business for a while, and I think that's how you get most of your players, is just building those recruiting contacts. And once people realize you take good care of your players, you make sure they graduate, do the right things every day, help them improve, it's easier to get kids. And I think Jefferson has done a good job of that, and we've tried to do a good job of that as a coaching staff.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk with Kevin about the postseason coming up, as well as we'll talk about where some of the Vikings who've played for us here in the past have gone on to play.
Very affordable. They have a convenient tutoring schedule that works around my schedule.
Jefferson College is very challenging.
They have a diverse campus.
This is the very beginning of the second part of my life, and I have a new sense of direction and a new passion in my life.
They are committed with my success.
The quality of education here, I would give it a 10. I'm Kimberly Clark.
I'm Shayna Payton.
I'm Jose Soloria.
I'm Rachel Schrage.
I'm Della Selman.
I'm Nick Schaefer.
I'm Stacy Self, and I discovered my future at Jefferson College.
And we're right back here on the Sports Report on JCTV, visiting with Kevin Emerick, head basketball coach here at Jefferson College. And in the previous segment, we had mentioned just some of the amazing success that Kevin and the players have had here over the past few years. But of course, you have 3 assistant coaches on staff, and maybe we can kind of highlight them too, because they're behind the scenes doing a lot of the work and helping you guys out with the success you've achieved.
No, that's exactly right, Matt. We've had the same staff together since I got here. Juanica Owsley's the assistant head coach, and obviously Juanica is the one who helps us run the program and does everything in the program, from recruiting to the paperwork to the travel. My wife Anna, of course, has been with us also 3 years, and she does a lot of behind-the-scenes things. Financially, gets the stuff ordered for the kids, the gear, the sweats, takes care of some of the travel, and also helps us on the court. And then Doc Carranza, Doc's just a great benefit to us. He's obviously a local teacher and longtime coach in Jefferson County, and Doc has been with us here. Like most small colleges, all 3 of those people work for very little money. They do it because they love it. They do it because they love the kids. And it's been amazing to keep that staff together for 3 years. And the job Juanica's done recruiting is probably the best job in junior college in the country. She's no doubt the top assistant coach in the nation in NJCAA. And I think the players that have come in here and stayed here have been a direct reflection of how good a job Juanica's done, and the rest of our staff recruiting, and of course everybody on campus has helped with that as well.
And we've talked some about the sophomores that have returned this year, and about some of the numbers that we've seen over the past several years. And these sophomores have put together quite an amazing run on their own. So let's talk a little bit about that, about the winning streak and their record as long as they've been here.
It is amazing. We lost 1 game regular season since they've been there, and it was about November 30th of 2007 was the last regular season game they've lost. And other than that 1 loss, they've got 2 losses at the national tournament. And those 3 losses, 60-3 record for 2 years. And we only lost the game to Southeastern Illinois College by 6 points, lost in the national tournament by 2 and by 4. So a total of 10 points or 12 points. They've got 3 losses since they've been here. And it's just amazing what these sophomores have done, given the fact that they've been preseason number 1 and number 1 all year. So we've gotten everybody's best shot every night. You're going out and people are playing against the number 1 team, trying to knock us off. So it's been pretty amazing. I think they've won somewhere around 50 regular season or out-of-region games now in a row since they've been here. So 50 wins in a row outside the national tournament speaks a lot about what they've done.
And in the next segment, we're going to talk a little bit about where some of the former Vikings have gone on to play. But let's stay talking about the sophomores that we have right now. Where do you envision them, or it may be too early to tell, but where do you think some of them could end up, continuing their basketball careers in college?
Well, I can tell you the people that are looking at them, the schools and the conferences that are looking, and in Division I basketball, we talk about it as a major college, which we all know is Duke and North Carolina and Tennessee, and then mid-majors, which are a lot really good conferences like the Mountain West or the WAC or maybe the Sun Belt and the Missouri Valley, and some of those are mid-major conferences. So we've got, Danielle's being recruited by everybody in the country, literally from major colleges on down. Latoya's being recruited by everybody in the country from major colleges on down. Deanna the same way, 6'3" post players that can catch and run the floor and are good students are really hard to find, and Deanna's improved her game a great deal. So all three of those kids are being recruited by fairly major colleges. Danae also, mid-major and down. I mean, talking to SIU Edwardsville and Tennessee Tech and Missouri Valley schools like that. So Danae's been looking at some pretty large schools as well. And the other sophomores are looking at lower level Division I's or high level Division II's, getting full rides at those schools. But we've got 3 weeks roughly left in the season, and all these kids, if they make it to nationals, will probably end up somewhere at Division I schools, because they're going to have a chance to be seen by a lot of schools out at Salina. And that's what happened last year. Our kids got seen, got a lot more scholarship offers, and they really had a chance to move up or bump up a little bit in the draft, so to speak, and go to a little bit better school. So all those schools are looking at our kids, and they're going to have a chance to get their education paid for and move on.
All right. Well, we wish them all the best of success wherever they end up, and we will take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more with Kevin Emerick, the head women's basketball coach here at Jefferson College.
You may not know their names, but the students who are helped through a Jefferson College Foundation scholarship carry thanks in their hearts. It's for the kindness that our contributors have shown. Make a difference in their tomorrows.
Education, the great equalizer. It doesn't just mean you get more knowledge, it means you improve your quality of life.
Give to the Jefferson College Foundation today.
And we're back here on the Sports Report with head basketball coach Kevin Emerick here at Jefferson College. And one thing I wanted to ask you about is, what would you characterize as the team's style of play? We hear that a lot when you are looking at college basketball or NBA, when you hear the analysts and the media. So how would you characterize that?
Well, I think anybody that's seen us play knows we like to get up and down the floor, and all of our teams the last 3 years have shot a lot of threes. I mean, we looked the other day, and I think we'd put up over 700 threes already this year. So in less than 30 games, you're putting up a lot of threes every night when you're getting up and down the floor and shooting the ball quickly. And part of that's a function of the shot clock in women's basketball. That 30-second shot clock is so much different than even a 35-second shot clock in men's basketball, or no shot clock in high school. So when kids come out here, you've got to have quick hitters when you come across half court. You've got to push the ball. And, I just talked to a coach last night. He said, the best way to beat that zone is to just not let them set that zone up. And so we really feel like if you can push the ball up the floor ahead of the defense getting set, you've got a good chance to be successful. And it also helps us in recruiting somewhat. I mean, I think it brings in a different type of kid than we would normally get if we walked it up and pounded into the post every time down and slowed it down and relied on our defense. And that's just not us. I mean, we want to outscore people. We want to play good defense too, but we want to outscore people. And that's our goal, is to be better offensively and to try to get better offensively as the year goes, because as the year goes on, it gets harder to score. Everybody knows your tendencies, as you mentioned, to what's your style of play. They know they like to take the fast break away from us and take the three away from us. And so they make you do things you don't want to do. And so we work every day on trying to be better offensively. And, you mentioned our kids moving on, and they're going on to the next school this year, and the kids in the past have went on. And no coach has walked into our gym in the last 3 years and asked for somebody that plays great defense. They want your kids to be able to play great defense, but they really want kids that can score. Kids that can put up some numbers, kids that can put the ball in the basket. So really part of their getting a scholarship at the next level is putting the ball in the basket. And I think that's an important part of what we do, is try to help them be better offensively.
And you get all of your players involved, and it's probably nice to have that depth on the roster. A lot of teams probably don't have that luxury.
The difference really in this year's team and last year's team is that depth, Matt. I mean, we've got, 8 to 9, 10, 12 players that can play on a given night, and they're all pretty skilled. They can all score. They can all defend pretty well. They're all fairly long and athletic. I mean, people say it looks like we got a track team rather than a basketball team. And that's exactly the way we want it to look. We want kids that can get up and down the floor, pressure full court, run 10 kids in and out the whole game to try to wear the other team out. And it's a great point, and that's exactly what we try to do. And it takes 3 years to get to that point. I mean, you try to recruit and be a little better than you were the year before, and next year we'll certainly try to be a little better than we are this year. It's going to be a huge challenge, but we're going to try to go out and get a little bit better player than we've got this year. And in the first 3 years we've succeeded in doing that. We've had good players every year, but we've not been 10 deep every year. We've not been able to really play our style every year. So this year we're certainly able to do that, and that depth you talked about is really the key to that.
All right, well, we're going to take another quick break, but stay with us. We have much more with head women's basketball coach Kevin Emerick when we come back.
The teachers' doors are always open.
Faculty commitment.
What I like the best is just the overall enthusiasm that the teachers have.
The faculty understands our students.
Jefferson College has a very comprehensive education.
Just being part of Jefferson College is like my second family.
Top quality education.
I'm Rachel Schrage.
I'm Jose Soloria.
I'm Della Selman.
I'm Shayna Payton, and I discovered my future at Jefferson College.
And we're back here on the Sports Report on JCTV, visiting with head women's basketball coach Kevin Emerick. And Kevin, I guess could you tell us a little bit about where some of the Vikings in the past have gone on from here to continue their basketball careers?
Yeah, Matt, there's a few that are playing four-year basketball out there. From that first group, the 31-5 group 2 years ago, we've got Evelina Skarjinskas down at Lynn University, and she's a senior down there this year, team captain, doing real well. They're having a good season. Candy Beamer is at Colorado State, also team captain. They're having a good season, their best season in 2 or 3 years out there. Candy's starting and having a great experience. CT Kinchin is on the number 4 ranked team in the nation at Lambeth University, and CT's had a great career at Lambeth since she left here and getting her education paid for. Dominique Ivory from last year's team is at Columbia College, so she's just up the road at Columbia, and she's having a great year there, playing a lot of minutes, and they're also nationally ranked, top 10 I think in NAI, so she's having a great experience. We had Callie Huff off that first team that went to Brevard College and played for a year. Great student and a great kid who had a lot to do with building our program. And Aya Vexani, who is at Rhode Island University. So Aya's doing a great job at Rhode Island. And Ashley Cornett, who was off that first team as well, is at Fort Hays State University out in Fort Hays, Kansas, and doing a great job there in the MIAA Division II basketball, also playing and getting their education paid for. So almost all these kids that have wanted to have moved on and got their education paid for at the next level. And of course we lose 7 sophomores, so there'll be a lot of them move on after this year, and we're going to miss those kids. But the idea is to bring them here, improve their skills, maybe bump them up a little bit in the draft, so to speak. If they were going to have a chance to play D2, we think by coming here and playing 2 years, they'll now have a chance to play Division I. Or if they didn't really have offers coming out of high school, they're going to get better offers here and maybe get their education paid for completely, where 2 years ago coming out of high school they maybe would have got a partial scholarship or no scholarship. So that's our goal, is to get their education paid for, and most of the kids have been able to do that.
And of course the postseason is right around the corner. We have the regional playoffs beginning in early March and the national tournament in mid-March. So can you kind of talk about, obviously it would be great to win the whole thing, but what are your goals going into it? How do you kind of get the team ready for the postseason tournaments coming up?
Well, we've been preparing for that the whole year. We've been thinking about the region tournament, I think, with everything we do with our recruiting and then with our preseason and then into the jamborees and into our early season schedule before Christmas and then into our region schedule. And I think that we got one more game left, and once you get that game out of the way with State Fair this week or down the road here, then every game after that, if you lose, you're out. So, it's not hard to motivate the kids given that scenario. And once you get into that region tournament, and we're the number 1 seed, so we'll play in the semifinals and then the finals if we're fortunate enough to win. You lose, you're out. So I think that's a great motivator, and we're definitely put in some things. Talk about special situations, late game situations. Talk about how to handle different presses and different zones. And there's a lot of things that we'll do now to prepare for seeing people, we hope, down the road outside of our region. If you're fortunate enough to make it to Salina, you've got to have some different things ready than you've had ready in your region season. So that's a great question. I mean, we're working on those things every day as well.
And like we mentioned earlier in the program, you've been to the national tournament the past 2 seasons. You had your Elite 8 finish last year. You've already had a great season, but would anything less than winning the national title be a disappointment to you all?
That's been asked to us several times, and I understand where that question comes from, but I don't think we look at it that way. I mean, I think that and I don't mean to be flip about it, but I think that, we're here for the kids to graduate. We're here for them to move on. And 28-0, maybe get to 29-0 before the region tournament is a great deal of success. And, I don't think we're planning on winning a national championship. I've always told Dr. Watts we want to put ourselves in position to compete for a national championship, to have enough talent and enough depth of talent, enough good quality kids that you've got a chance to compete for a national championship. There's 4 undefeated teams in the country. We're just one of them. And we're just fortunate enough that we got ranked #1 because of our showing last year, and we've held that throughout the year. So there's you get in the top 10 out at Salina, and anybody can win. And you get in the Elite 8, and we saw last year that all the games are decided by 2 or 4 points. I mean, nobody's going to run away with anything out there. So great question, and we're certainly thinking national championship, but our goal is to compete for that national championship, and I certainly don't think our season's been a failure, no matter what happens after this point. And we've got a great group of kids, and they're a success no matter what.
Let's talk a minute about Danielle Adams. She's a great player. Obviously last year, along with some other players, she was all-conference along with LaToya Johnson, Shea Williams, and Dominique Ivory as all-region as well, and she was an All-American as well last year. Last year she led the league in scoring, the nation in scoring. And one thing I found amazing about that is when I looked at the numbers, I think her total field goals were something like 377, and the second was like 284. I mean, not only did she lead the nation in scoring, she absolutely, the competition was so much far behind her. So as a fan down there just watching the game, she's exciting to watch from that standpoint. What's it like to coach a player like that?
Well, she's got all the tools. I mean, as far as athletically, she can post up, she can step outside and shoot the 3. She can handle the basketball. She can defend. She can block shots. She's a great rebounder, as we saw last year. I mean, she's got a chance to – she's already over 1,500 points, but she's got a chance to be one of few players in JUCO history to get 1,500 points and 750 rebounds. So, I mean, that's an amazing stat. And, what she's done this year, the numbers are less this year. I mean, she's 22 points a game, about 8 rebounds a game, in about 20 minutes a game. She's only playing about 20, 25 minutes because she's a victim of her own success, so to speak. On our team, the average margin of victory is about 35 points this year. So not only have we not needed her to play 40 minutes a game, it would be, less than productive for us to play her 40 minutes a game. So she's got all those stats and done everything she's done in no more than 25 minutes average a game this year, and probably closer to 20. So that's another amazing thing about what you mentioned and what she's put together.
Yeah, and just recently in mid-February, she was named one of the JCTV Players of the Week. And the stats there were pretty great, too. 31 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals in one of the games. And then the other game that week, 27 points and 13 rebounds. So, again, she's putting together another great year. And she's definitely exciting to watch. I guess that'll about do it here. Is there anything else you'd like to stress or talk about today?
Well, we've got three or four candidates for all region, and we got 2 candidates that we think LaToya and Deanna are going to have a chance to be shoe-in academic All-Americans. And Deanna possibly with distinction. She's got a 4-point GPA right now, and we're really proud of those kids because they lead us academically and as well as starting for us and having a chance to be all region and All-American athletically. We're just real proud of what they've done academically, and that's one of our biggest goals here. And LaToya is just a great player as well, preseason All-American, as you mentioned. And she and Danielle have really done a lot here over the last 2 years to help this program build and maintain the situation we're in. And to have her be so great academically is also a pretty nice asset. And they've been a great group to coach. And, we're not done with the season. We got a lot of season left, we hope. And it's just been a pleasure to coach these kids the last 2 years. And we're certainly going to miss them when they're gone. I hope everybody comes out to see them play.
All right. Well, Kevin Emerick, the head coach of the Jefferson College women's basketball team, thanks so much for coming in, and we wish you the best of luck in the postseason.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
All right. Well, that will do it for now on the Sports Report here on JCTV. Thanks a lot for watching.